talking. And keep in mind that about a little less than it's a Christmas season, I'm going to be doing a Christmas horror film. Probably the most famous one. Well, actually, maybe Gremlins is more famous, but anyway, one of the most famous Christmas horror films in Black Christmas. And we're talking about the 1974 original here. We're certainly not talking about the crappy remake. But it comes out, and as soon as this live stream is over, why don't you go check it out? And usually, basically, what I want to do here is I just want to talk about random horror topics, anything that has anything to do with horror films, or even just any random thing. I just keep the questions coming. The more questions, the better. So basically, it takes a while to get an audience on a live stream. But basically, hi country. Nice to see you all. Nice to see you on every live stream. It's nice. But usually it takes a while to build up an audience. So before I start, I'm basically just going to talk about my personal experiences as a horror fan. And I'm doing a live stream. Basically, when I was a kid, I've always been interested in horror. I don't know what the deal is. It's one of those things. Sometimes it's just natural to you. And loving horror films has always been natural to me. So I started, obviously, I approached the kiddie films first, the so-called kiddie films, like the Universal horror movies like Dracula and Frankenstein and Wolfman and those types. Then I did some like Godzilla. I'm a huge Godzilla fan, and that Godzilla is more in the sci-fi slash horror. And besides that, eventually I worked my way up to Jaw and stuff like that. But what really got started into horror films was I had a brother-in-law at the time. My brother-in-law, I worshiped at the time. I was a lonely kid. I didn't have many friends, and he was a guy I basically worshipped at the time. Turned out to be a dick though. He left my sister, and I have no use. Uh, I have no use for him now. But anyway, no, whatever. I don't. Yeah, that guy's gonna go. I have no patience for hecklers. So, Kira, whatever, you are gone. Oh, before you leave, here you go. That guy. I do have a job, by the way. Anyway, now we get to the serious topic. He brought home 3 movies that I just really. One of them changed my life. He brought home Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, Jason Goes to Hell. And Part 4 and 5, I liked them okay at the time. They didn't really make that big of an impression on me. But what did make an impression on me, hey Salvador, what did make an impression on me was Jason Goes to Hell. Now, granted, that's not a film that usually gets people into horror. It's usually not the first. It's not really a movie I would suggest first Friday the 13th because it's so weird and wacky and it has nothing to do with the actual series in a lot of ways. But Jason Goes to Hell was the film. After that, I was hooked for life. Jason Goes to Hell became my gateway drug into real horror. And from that, I went into my favorite horror movie, Halloween. And by the way, I want you guys to ask questions. I don't. I'm not just. I'm just sitting here talking to get things going. But I want you guys to ask me questions. Like if you're interested in horror movies, just give me a topic, give me a question, just whatever, and I have to answer what my favorites are and stuff like that. But after that, I moved on to time. Night of the Living Dead was one that really got me going, and Scream was another one. So basically, I want you guys to ask questions about horror. Just keep a solid topic going. I have nothing planned here. The only reason I told you my life story, and whatnot, is kind of get things going before people start watching. People start asking questions. So start asking questions. Films. Do you not like horror films at all and just want to tell why? I'm here to just answer everything, to hear everything, just whatever you want. Uh, I rank the top 100 films. I have a live stream of that. You should check it out if you're really interested. I'm really big into lists and stuff like that. But you just never know what you're going to get. Sometimes people are really talkative on live streams, and sometimes people just don't say anything. So I'm here for you guys to interact. So interact. Ask me questions. What you have a horror topic? What are the kind that I like? For that matter, slasher movies are always my favorites, and zombie movies, especially Romero type, the slow movie type, are another one of my favorites. But I'm very diverse in my taste. I will watch anything that's horror related. Like there's some genres I'm not as big on. Like the found footage is a little sometimes it's a little too modern for me. But and I there's not really that many good not that many good werewolf movies. But what do you guys think? What do you have a question about horror? I'm here to answer it, or to just hang out. Just whatever. Do you like? What do you guys think is the best horror film? What do you guys think is the least? Did you use weapons before? Yes. What is the highest caliber? Did you test it against guns? But I'm not really a gun person, if that's what you mean. But thanks for the question. Just try to keep asking questions, even if it's not horror. Just ask me a question. I like interacting with people. But if I was machine guns and shotguns are pretty cool, I guess, if that's but I'm not really a gun person. Does anybody else got a question? But some of the films I really hate, I do not like The Blair Witch Project. I think it's awful. I hate Get Out. I hate It Chapter 2. I hate the Black Christmas remake. Those are some of my least favorite horror films. Does anybody else have what's your favorite horror film? What's your least favorite horror film? Let me know. And if you want to debate something, that's just fine with me too. Just ask me questions, guys. Anything. You guys are quiet right now. You just never know what you're going to get from live streams. Sometimes people won't shut up, and sometimes they won't talk. So I'm here to talk. So what do you guys think? That's my dog outside. She hears me, so she's barking. But on my channel, I handle horror is my do it stink. Does what stink? I don't know. What are you referring to that stinks? But on my channel, my channel is not necessarily a horror film channel, but that's what I handle mostly. I have a lot of movies from Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, The Exorcist, The Evil Dead. At 7 o'clock, I'm going to do I'm going to God, I can't talk. Premiere my Black Christmas review. And I'm talking about Black Christmas 1974. Go to bed. Well, yeah. Anyway, what do you guys think? What kind of horror films do you like? What's the best horror film you've seen recently? What's the worst horror film you've seen recently? Just keep the comments coming, guys. Come on. Except for unless you're going to be a dick like yes, OE, whatever. Speaking of which, 7 now. Yeah, thank you. You're your local man. Nice. But anyway, I love films. I like the black and white ones, like from like Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi, those type. There's really not a. I'd say the worst horror decade would most likely be the 40s because a lot of that was just like retreading on the classical horror movie, like the Frankenstein types. But really, I'm pretty much an expert on horror, so whatever. If it's a horror related band, like I love Alice Cooper, Black Sabbath, Slipknot. Have you ever climbed a mountain? No. No, I have not, but I do like rock climbing. Like the fake stuff, whatever you call it, strap you in. I enjoy that. And I also like the pools when you can climb the rocks and drop from them. That's kind of nice. Any other questions? My favorite horror monster is Michael Myers from Halloween. And Jason is my second favorite. And yes, you know what? What the hell? I can go and I can look at one of my old lists and we can go. And maybe that'll get this topic started. But basically, I'm here to answer questions. What do you guys think about just the horror topic? Like, I'm down for whatever. Just ask me any kind of question. Okay, where was I? I have a. What's your favorite horror movie film score? What's up, my white sugars, white supremacist dude? You know what? I miss old movie days. Yeah, if you are not married, don't even think about it. Well, hold on a second. Impersonate. Tell you what, man, I wish I was married. That's probably the reason why I've seen so many movies is because I don't have don't have a real life maybe. Basically, I work and I watch movies, and I take care of my animals. It would be really nice to have a mate, someone to watch movies with. That would be nice. So, impersonator, are you unhappily married? We probably hope if you are, I hope your wife's not watching this. But man, just do you have a comment of any sort? My favorite horror director is George Romero. He's the guy who created the Night of the Living Dead films. I'm a huge fan of like Night of the Living Dead. The juice are blocking your stream is what's the uh I don't know what that means. I tell you what, we can go to the top 100 greatest horror films from Digital Dream Door. And that way I can just give you my topic on each random film, and maybe that'll get the topic started. Because you guys are really quiet. You guys don't need to be quiet, guys. That's why I'm here to talk. Horror movies here. But anyone got any kind of topic for me? Any horror film questions? Gosh, my connection was interrupted. Okay, there we go. All right. Over here, this is a site I like to use. It's Digital Dream Door. In Digital Dream Door, they have a lot of lists, and I'm a big fan of lists like the top 10 movies, top 10 books, top 10, stuff of that nature. And right here, they have the top greatest horror films. And right now, I'm going to just go and tell you my opinion of each one they have here. And they go all the way to, gosh, they go a long way. So surely we'll find something to talk about here. Number one, they have Psycho. I would not put Psycho as the greatest horror film of all time, but I have nothing wrong with whoever does. Obviously, Psycho was the first real slasher film. It was made by a guy named Alfred Hitchcock, who I think is the greatest director of all time, period. And Psycho is a masterpiece. It's got Norman Bates as the killer. It's one of the greatest black and white horror films for sure. And obviously, the plot twist, everyone knows now, but at the time, it was truly shocking. Honestly, it's number 4 on my top 100 list. They have it number 1 here, but it's a good choice. Great musical score, great plot, great everything. Based loosely on a true story, the serial killer Ed Gein influenced that particular film. Number 2, they have The Exorcist. And The Exorcist, when people ask you what is the scariest horror film of all time, usually The Exorcist is the movie that gets the nod. It never really scared me personally, but that could be a generational thing. But I did a review for it, and it's my most popular video. It's got my most views, my most subscribers for a video. And I basically made the case that it is a Christian horror film, because I think it really is. To me, The Exorcist, a lot of people say it's satanic, but a lot of those people have never actually watched it. For me, The Exorcist is truly a Christian horror film, no doubt about it. It's about God. Having still being stronger than the devil, even in these killer times. They have it at number 2. I can understand that. It's number 9 on my personal list. Number 3, they got Night of the Living Dead, and that is a great choice. But for me, Night of the Living Dead, I would put it number 2, actually. But pretty close. It was obviously the first real zombie movie, and it's also the movie that really brought gore into modern horror. The ending extremely depressing. Definitely the greatest black and white horror film of all time. The best zombie movie of all time, in my opinion. Number 4, this is a movie that gets the pick as the greatest horror film a lot lately. For whatever reason, it's picked up steam. And that is The Shining. And it's based on a Stephen King book, which I do own. And I have never loved The Shining as much as everyone else does. To me, it's definitely an excellent film, but it's kind of boring. And the acting is not very good. I mean, no, Jack Nicholson is great as Crazy Jack, but before he goes crazy, he doesn't make for a very good sane man in that movie. The music is great in that movie, and Stephen King actually hates The Shining because he thinks it ruined the spirit of his book. I actually think it's better than his book. That's one of the few, but I think it's overrated for sure. I definitely do not think it's a top 10 horror film, but it's definitely a top 100 film. Number 5, the original Nosferatu. For me, the original Nosferatu is the greatest vampire movie of all time. And it's a little overrated. I wouldn't put it in my top 10, but it is Grave Encounters, I guess, 2000. Is that one of your favorites? That sounds familiar. I think I've seen it, but I can't really recall it. But Nosferatu, it's definitely the scariest vampire. Like, the guy who played the vampire in that movie, Count Orlok, who's basically just Dracula with a German name. Man, he is really freaky. He's kind of like a rat man. He's really cool. Number 6, they have Jaws. And Jaws was a movie I liked a lot when I was a kid, too. I don't think it's a top 10 horror film, but it's an excellent horror film. Definitely the best of the so-called killer animal movies. Number 7, they got Alien. Alien's an excellent film, no doubt about it. The original Alien is by far my favorite. Aliens is overrated. Alien 3 is underrated, and I like the Alien Romulus. It's a good movie. But all the movies in between Alien 3 and Alien Romulus suck. I don't understand why it's considered a great franchise. For me, only the first film is exceptionally notable for me. Number 8 is my favorite film of all time, Halloween, the original Halloween. And it's a classic, guys. I don't know why people get sick of it because it's played year-round all the time, but the reason it's a cliche pick is because it's a great film, and It's a masterpiece. Michael Myers is the greatest monster of all time. We still don't know anything about him after all these movies. Laurie Strode is one of the greatest final girls. Dr. Loomis is one of the greatest horror heroes. Netflix shit. Uh, I don't watch a lot of Netflix movies because a lot of it's woke and preaching stuff. I have seen a few, like the one based on Dahmer. I did not like at all. Uh, the one Netflix movie that I really do like, and it's odd because I hate Mike Flanagan as a filmmaker. He's really woke and annoying. But gosh, you know what? I forgot what it's called. It's the Stephen King adaptation. The one with the chick. She gets tied up. Her and her husband are bonding are into bondage, and he dies, so she's stuck there. God, what's that movie called, guys? I'm really bad with, but that movie is really good. The House that Jack Built. Never really cared for that one. Lars von Trier, he's a kind of an oddball. But if you like it, that's great. Just keep the comments coming, guys. The only reason I'm going over this is because no one's asking questions. Ask questions. Anything about horror, I'm here for. And if you got any other questions, Silent Hill's a good movie. I like it. I don't like the sequel, but the original Silent Hill is good. It's also based on a game. I've never played the game, but I hear the game is pretty cool. It's often mentioned with House of the Dead and Resident Evil and, those kind of classic games. But, hey, Zeus. But anyway, yeah, Silent Hill's a good movie. I enjoy it. Next, they have the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That is a classic. And it was another one that's based on Ed Gein. There's a lot of movies based on the serial killer Ed Gein. And I'm fine, Zeus. I'm trying to get people to talk. If you can use your godly powers to get people to ask questions, I'd appreciate it. You just never know. Like, the last time I got all kinds of comments. This time I'm not getting hardly any. So, guys, anything you want to ask, let me know. Bet. I don't know what does that mean? But the serial killer Ed Gein, there's a Netflix movie about him. I hear it's not very good. Yes, that's right, Zeus. Use your godly powers to make people subscribe. But if you're going to unsubscribe later, don't waste my time. What's that old one with Michael Rooker? I believe you're talking about Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. Am I right? That's also a great film. I have it here in my collection. That's based on a real-life serial killer, too. That was Henry Lucas. It was actually a tag team. Henry Lucas and Otis Toole. And if you haven't seen that, Joshua 36, whatever. Thanks, Zeus. I appreciate it. But if you haven't seen it, you need to check it out. But you know the guy, Adam Walsh, who created the America's Most Wanted? Well, the reason why he created that was because his son was his son was raped and murdered by a serial killer. And that serial killer was Otis Toole, who was the lover slash co-killer with Henry Lucas. Yes, true story. So Adam Walsh, he basically dedicated his life to making sure no one ended up like his son did. Really sad story, but at least he ended up catching a lot of bad guys because of it. I mean, I can't imagine that. Can you imagine, any of you who have kids, if someone raped and murdered your child? Can you imagine how awful that would be? I mean, I can't even imagine it. I don't think I could get over that. I don't have any kids, Nat. Honestly, I'm not married. But man, I don't think I could deal with that. I think that'd ruin my life, personally. It's amazing that he did something good from that experience. Obviously, I'm sure he'd rather have his son back, but yeah. But Henry Lucas and Otis Toole, they were awesome. Same because I'm 11. Well, anyone's welcome here. When I was a kid, the first hardcore horror movie I watched was Hellraiser when I was 9 years old. But when this live stream's over, go to my channel and watch Black Christmas 1974 video. Hopefully you'll like it. Anyway, moving on. Anybody got any other questions? I ask you question. All right, go ahead, Zeus. Ask me a question. I didn't know Zeus was 11 years old. I assumed he was in the thousands because of Greek mythology, but I guess you learn something new every day. The Thing is the greatest. How old are you? I'm 37. The Thing is the greatest remake of all time. Horror or regardless, just the greatest remake of all time. A lot better than the original film, which is a good film, The Thing from Another World. But The Thing, it's a classic. John Carpenter, a lot of people consider it his best film. I don't. Halloween will always be that to me. But the practical effects in that movie are just incredible. Just, you look at this digital crap. I thought it's Bone Tomahawk was a good movie. It's a kind of a horror western. I enjoy that. You talking about movies? Yes. Just if you got any topic about horror movies in particular, but anything, just go ahead. But The Thing, the greatest alien movie of all time, the greatest sci-fi horror film, just the greatest. My real name is John, but my channel's called the Hillbilly Review Channel, and that's because I have a hillbilly voice. It's not because I'm a hillbilly myself. But, anyway, moving on. The Silence of the Lambs, I wouldn't consider it a top 20 horror film, but they have it here at 11. It's an excellent film. It's very... Oh, thank you, Eden. It's very influential. Like, Silence of the Lambs started the so-called horror/thriller genre, you know. And obviously, Hannibal Lecter is one of the all-time great killers. And he only appears in, like, 15 minutes at the most of that movie. But he steals the show, for sure. They got Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. That was contrary to popular belief, and I actually believe this myself. I thought it was the first horror film. Like the first full-length horror film. It's not. There's actually a movie called Dante's Inferno, based on, you know, Dante's Inferno, which came up in 1914 or something of that nature, with a basket and lotion. He gets the skin. What is that? What does Buffalo Bill say in that movie? He gets the lotion again, or something like that. Anyway, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. It's the first real classic horror film. Grave Encounters, like Nosferatu, is a classic. Zeus, don't leave us, man. You're the only one asking questions. I've seen Grave Encounters. I don't remember it, though, so I can't really comment on it. The new Nosferatu is a good movie, too. It puts the lotion... Yes, that's right. It puts the lotion on the skin or it gets the hose again. Man, Buffalo Bill. He was freaky. At 13, I'll just go through them randomly. Dawn of the Dead is a classic. Dawn of the Dead, a lot of people consider it the greatest... Hey, Ahmed. Not classic, but inspired by real abandoned psycho. Yeah. Does anyone here believe in ghosts? This is a question. Anyone who's watched... Fire in the Sky is a good movie. I enjoy it. It's supposedly... hey, Josh. It's supposedly based on a true story, but here's the thing about me and aliens. I don't believe... It's not that I don't believe in aliens. I'm an agnostic when it comes to aliens because you saw one, imposter? Well, tell me about it. Tell us about it. But the universe is gigantic, so there's no way to explore the whole thing, so who knows where it is? And I have camera footage. Well, that's cool. If you get abducted by UFO, we will call it fire in the closet. I'm not in the closet, but But anyway, Fire in the Sky is supposedly based on a true story about these guys that got abducted by aliens. Uh, Too much X-Files for me. You know what? I never did like the X-Files that much. It was just kind of just okay for me. I'm more of a Tales from the Crypt guy. But the thing about the aliens, the universe is huge. You never know. There could be life on other worlds, but are they coming here and raping farmers and putting shapes in the crops? I do not think so. I don't think if there's any real life aliens, I don't think they've came here, if that means anything. I don't believe in that. But as far as people on other worlds, possibly, I don't have a real opinion on that. I don't believe in ghosts personally. I do believe in the soul. Sunshine, angel, fairy. But anyway, but yeah, Fire in the Sky is a good movie, whether it's real or not. Well, crop circles, maybe a lot of other stuff, maybe not. I don't believe in crop circles. I think that's a hoax, but I don't believe in any of that stuff. I mean, it's interesting, like the abominable snowman, the Bigfoot, and Loch Ness Monster. I don't believe in any of that stuff. It would be cool if it was real, and if they showed me proof, I would believe it, and I'd admit I was wrong. I don't think I'm ever going to be proved wrong, though. Near the surface. Yeah, most of those ghosts are just natural phenomena. Even swamp gas is usually... when I was a kid, my church, Signs is a good movie. I enjoy that one. You can search for the phenomena. But anyway, of course I read up on all that stuff because it's interesting, but I just don't believe it's real. Where was I, guys? Oh, yeah. At my church, you would go down there, and every once in a while, you'd hear a big boom sound. And they used to joke and tell us that it was the ghost of the dead choir members. The truth was, it was just the heater moving. That was the so-called ghost. But yeah, that's what most ghosts are, in my opinion. If you saw one, maybe you did. I don't know. I can't prove that they don't exist, but I certainly can't prove that they are real. And yeah, Josh, I like zombies too. I love Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead. Those are my favorite zombie movies. I also love Dead Alive. The Cemetery Man's a classic. There's a lot of really awesome zombie movies, for sure. What's your thoughts on all the flying objects at the end of last year? My personal opinion on... Thanks, Zeus. Stay with us, man. I love having you. My personal opinion on the... Obviously, I guess UFOs do technically exist because really it means unidentified flying objects, which means they're these space things that you don't know what they are. My personal opinion is that it's foreign spacecraft, like probably from China or Russia, probably experimental crafts. And I think in the Cold War era, the reason why there was so many so-called UFO sightings, in my opinion, was because it was the Soviets testing technology. Because you never know they were gonna maybe have nuclear war or something. That's my personal opinion. It's usually hoaxes or natural phenomena that's mistaken, or it's foreign technology from other countries, or even maybe our own too. We do have other planets that have life on them, but the life is very minuscule. It's basically like germs. Like virus was messed up. Are you referring to the movie with Jamie Lee Curtis where a computer virus goes crazy and there's robots killing people? I have seen that movie a long time ago. Yeah, I've seen that movie a long time ago, and I can't remember anything about it. But, yes, I have seen Virus. I've seen just about every horror film. What about you guys? Do you guys believe in aliens? Do you believe we're being abducted by aliens? Just what Donald Sutherland, are you referring to Invasion of the Body Snatchers? The original film is a awesome movie. The remake is decent. I think it's overrated. It does have better special effects than the original, but I think putting it in a city kind of ruins the mystique. It was better when it was a small town. Oh, Donald Sutherland was in Virus. Well, he may have been. I can't remember anything about that movie except it had killer robots and Jamie Lee Curtis was in it. Here's the thing about They Live. There's parts of it I like, but I do not like the spirit of the film because I don't like the politics. Because John Carpenter, like most Hollywood people, he's liberal. And it was basically him bashing Reagan. Well, guess what? I love Ronald Reagan. He's my favorite president. So I love John Carpenter, but I do not like. Yeah, that was a funny one. I came here to chew bubble gum and kick ass. And I'm all out of gum. That part is funny. I have to agree. But I do not like the movie. I did. There is parts of it I like, but I just do not like the politics in that one. Ronald Reagan, the last time the country was really successful, Ronald Reagan was president. So he may not like him because of his politics, but Ronald Reagan was one of the greatest presidents. Certainly the best president of my lifetime. The ally fight was crazy. Yeah, that was funny. They just beat the crap out of each other randomly. But that was my favorite John Carpenter movie is Halloween, obviously. My second favorite is The Thing, and my third is, even though he didn't technically direct it, is Halloween 2. I'm a big Halloween guy. Uh, I think a lot of the movies that they say sucks are actually pretty good. Like Vampires is a good movie. Thank you, Zeus. I appreciate it. But anyway, anybody got any other comments? You agree 100%. What do we agree on, Josh? Tell me what we agree on. Anybody else got comments? I appreciate Josh and Zeus and Impersonator and anyone else got any questions, comments, whatnot? Who is the god? Halloween and the Thing. Oh yes, Halloween and the Thing. There's some masterpieces. First, how are you? I'm fine. It's the live stream is finally picking up. No one talked originally, and I was wondering about just canceling it. Friday the 13th. It's not the most entertaining movie, but it's a classic because it, along with Halloween, really established the slasher boom. Like all the rules, clearly was cut. It could have easily been 3 hours. Well, I disagree with you on there. Like I said, I don't like They Live myself. But it may be a political thing with me. It's basically saying it's basically an anti-Ronald Reagan movie, and I love Reagan, so anything that's anti-Reagan, I'm not going to like. What will happen if life ended? Where are you from? I'm from a small town called Hartville, Missouri. Right in the middle of America. Screw Nightmare on Elm Street. Well, I tell you what, the original Nightmare on Elm Street is a classic. The remake, though, sucks. It was 2025 in the movie. Which movie is that? Where are you? What will happen if life ends? If life ends, then Earth will just be like all the other planets, and it'll just be a dead planet. And, I had a dream you tapped my grandma, bro. You and Big Mike from The Blind Side. You mean the big black football player dude? What does your grandma look like? You never know. If the chick has kids early, sometimes grandmas can be hot. Hello, young sir. Well, hello, ducks. Hey, man, if she's hot, I don't care if they're 70. If they're hot, I'll bang them. I'm not into old ladies, though. Hello, gay or straight? I'm straight. I might as well be gay with the luck I have with women, but I am straight. Or just straight up gay. No. If you're going to act like that, I'll put you in timeout with that other motherfucker. Uh, then be gay. Who cares? Then live streams, there's always hecklers. Anyone who wants to start a YouTube channel, people will heckle you just for the fuck of it. And you just got to roll with the punches. I have some free time. Can you choose a random horror film? I will watch it for sure. Okay. First tell me what are you into? Are you into slasher movies? Are you into old school? How old were you when you found out? I don't like men, and you are Adam Lewis, you are a son of a bitch, and you are being blocked. Yep. Old school. How old school are we talking? Are we talking like Universal horror like the 30s, or are we talking about the 70s, or the 80s? Give me a decade. Give me a decade, and I'll help you. I'm a YouTuber. Well, that's cool. 80 to 70, okay. Obviously, if you've never seen Halloween, I'm sure you probably have, but if you've never seen Halloween, you got to see it. But The Evil Dead. The Evil Dead is the greatest horror movie of the 80s, in my personal opinion. The original Evil Dead. Soylent Green. Soylent Green is not a horror movie technically, but it's a good movie. I enjoy it. Basically, it's Charlton Heston. He finds out they're in like a future apocalyptic world, and they find out that they're running out of food, so they're actually eating people. So very good film. I enjoy that movie too, Josh. The best Charlton Heston movies are Planet of the Apes, and Ben-Hur, and the Ten Commandments. Those are his classics. Nightmare on Elm Street, the original Nightmare on Elm Street is a classic, no doubt about it. Actually, the first three are good movies. And New Nightmare is good. I do not like any of the others. They make Freddy comedian, and I don't like that. But Tusk is a good movie. They turned that guy into a walrus. I like that one. And I am not a Kevin Smith fan. I do not understand the appeal. A lot of people worship him. I don't even like him. I think he's kind of a dick, personally. But Tusk is a good movie. Final Destination 1 through 3. I agree with you, and that is funny. 2022. In a lot of ways, 2022 was worse or better than it was in Soylent Green. I don't like body stuff like Human Centipede. Human Centipede's a special movie. What can I say? I don't enjoy it necessarily. I'm interested in the first Human Centipede. But I understand what you mean. The rest of them, they're just shock for shock's sake. But the original Human Centipede, it was an interesting film. It's the only one that actually tried to be a real movie. Final Destination, the first two were awesome. I don't like any of the rest of them except the new one. Bloodlines, the new one, is actually pretty good. You should check it out. But I agree, the second Final Destination especially, that one's really fun. Really gory, lots of fun. Love the guy getting ripped in 3 parts with the barbed wire. That was awesome. If life feels empty, it's often because the soul is asking for something deeper. Well, that's very philosophical of you, my man. 80s film where doctor turns guy into snake. Yes, I like that movie also. Just try to name a movie I haven't seen, guys, as far as horror. Unless it's like in the last 5 years. Is a good movie. I agree. Blood and No Mercy. That's what makes a horror movie a horror movie. Well, man, you need to check out Dead Alive. It is literally, it is in the Guinness Book of World Records. The movie Dead Alive by Peter Jackson, a.k.a. Mr. Lord of the Rings, is the goriest movie of all time. Check it out. What do you do in your free time? Well, I watch movies. I listen to music. I do this. Like, I can only live stream at night because I work during the day like most people, Bloodlines. Yeah, Bloodlines was a good movie. I like it. And I did not like any Final Destination after Final Destination 2. That one kind of redeemed the franchise in a way. There's like the third one, they're in amusement park. And a lot of people like that one. I never cared for it, but anyway, that's a brilliant plot. Like the idea of having death itself being the villain. I mean, who can beat death, you know? Death kills everybody, so. Anybody, just keep them comments, keep the questions coming, guys. Yay, I'm alive. Yeah, that funny. That was funny that it started with a penny. I like the horror stuff Ethan Hawke does. I guess you're referring to the Purge. The Purge is a really good movie. Now, I like the first two Purges. The rest of them are too political. I don't like them after the first two. Actually, the recent one's not too bad. But like the third one, it's basically a Hillary Clinton campaign commercial. I hate that movie. Sinister is an awesome movie. I agree. Sinister is probably his best movie of Ethan Hawke. Black Phone is decent. It's a bit overrated for me, but Sinister is an awesome. They find all these old VHS tapes of people getting brutally murdered. Still my favorite. Well, I respect that. Nightmare on Elm Street is a masterpiece, no doubt about it. I like it when Freddy is actually a villain. I don't like it when he's making cheesy one-liners. That don't do it for me. People must follow their purpose or being... Well, I can tell you don't read Schopenhauer. I do. Black Phone, actually, I like the book better. I have the book. Black Phone is decent. I mean, the idea that it's some kind of masterpiece, I don't agree with, but yes, for sure, original is the best. Here's the thing, the original Nightmare on Elm Street, it deserves the hype. The second one is underrated. A lot of people don't like it because it's really weird and really gay, but I like it. At least it's got Freddy being a monster still. It is kind of weird, but you know. Number 3 is a fan favorite. It's really good. 4, 5, do not like. Freddy's Dead is god-awful. The remake sucks. New Nightmare is good. Do you like Stephen King's It? Which one are you referring to? The original It with 1990 with Tim Curry. I grew up on that shit, man. I was a kid when I watched that. There's only 2 movies in my life that ever scared me, and they was both when I was a kid. One of them was The Evil Dead, and the other one was It, Tim Curry. The remake is okay. It Chapter 2 is a piece of shit. It's the worst movie I ever saw in the theaters. I almost walked out of that one. Misery is a classic. Misery is Kathy Bates might have performed the greatest female performance in a movie. Period. Yeah, I'm a 90s kid too, my man. I got fired from the Calendar Factory for taking a day off. The original Day of the Dead is a classic, guys. An absolute masterpiece. The remake does suck, but the original, one of the goriest movies ever. I love it. Speaking of Stephen King, what the hell? I'll show you my Stephen King collection. You want that? Be a good person as you are, and even better. Well, thank you, Stormy. Day or dawn. If you ask me what my favorite of the movies is, I would say Day of the Dead. But if you're asking which one is better, I would say Dawn of the Dead. So, objectively, Dawn of the Dead's better, even though Day of the Dead's my favorite. I love Chucky movies. Well, Barney, subscribe to my channel and go to my Child's Play franchise ranking video. I have it there. I think you'd really enjoy that. It's one of my most popular ones. Day made me puke. Did it make you puke because it sucked? Which it doesn't. It's a masterpiece. Or because it's super gory. Like, it has the best ripping out the intestine scene ever. Both had good music. Yes, they both did. I agree. Especially Dawn of the Dead. It had one of the best musical scores. In fact, Halloween is the only one that's better, in my opinion. Dance Macabre. That was in the 80s, Stephen King. In the 80s, Stephen King wrote a book where he just tells you about various horror movies, various books, and that's a really good movie. Definitely the very good book. Definitely the best. Not the best, but it's definitely the Stephen King book I've read the most. Back to the 80s and my buddy stand. Oh God, I miss the old video store days, Blockbuster, Movie Gallery. You're from that era too. The tarantula in the beginning. You look like Felix from Stray Kids. You know, someone else said that. I don't know if that's a compliment or not. My least favorite horror movie, you know what? The one that's really popping in my head is Black Christmas Remake. I hate that movie. It's basically, first of all, it's not even a real remake of the original. But I'll look him up. But it's basically just a feminist I hate men movie. And I hate that shit. Keep your politics out of your movies, man. Anyway. Alright, have you watched Weapons? As a matter of fact, I've watched the first 20 minutes of it before doing this video. I'm going to finish it after. So, is it any good? I've heard mixed things. I've heard some people say it is. I've heard some people say it's awful. Anyone who's seen it, is it any good? The plot is at least interesting, you know. Anybody, Pet Cemetery, the saddest Stephen King book ever. Don't read it if you've lost a loved one or a pet. But a little bit, it's really good at the end, but a little bit gory. Well, that's cool. I love gore. Carrie was Stephen King's first real hit. And he actually made some books before, but they didn't really make the cut necessarily. Carrie is gruesomely underrated. A lot of people prefer the movie. I don't. I think the original Carrie, I believe the book is a lot better than the movie. The movie's decent. I own both of them, by the way. For the guy who mentioned it, here is my copy. All 1,000 and God knows who. I don't read as much as I should. I'm actually a writer. I'm just not technically published. I've never, I've written over 20 some books. I just need to edit them and try to get them published. But it is Stephen King's best book, even though there's that creepy ass scene at the end. Those of you who've read it know what I'm talking about. But Pennywise, he's the greatest Stephen King character. In this book, it's been read so much, you can see it's fading away. I'll join your next live. Well, thank you, Duxer. Like and subscribe and all that. Misery, speaking of Misery, the book is ever so slightly better. The movie is a classic, too, though. Night Shift. This one's gruesomely underrated. I'm here instead of. Anyway, the Night Shift, it's the one that's got Children of the Corn in it. And it's also got, what else does it have? Sometimes They Come Back is another one. It's actually my favorite of the Stephen King collections, except for different seasons. I'm here instead of you. What does that mean, man? Stephen King Goes to the Movies. That one's kind of a compilation deal. This is Stephen King's most gruesomely. Do you play sports? I used to play baseball. Now I'm too old, you know. Bag of Bones. This is Stephen King's most underrated book. The movie sucks, but the book is awesome. It's basically a horror gothic romance. A lot of people don't like it for some reason, but I love it. Nightmares and Dreamscapes. That's another good one. Okay. The Shining. I'm old school here. Hiking. Never did hike. I do like just walking in the woods. The Shining. I'm old school. Anything Stephen King after his bike crashed and he had a motorcycle. Oh, I'll keep that in mind, Star Knight. But after Stephen King crashed his bike, man, all he does is write political shit that's derivative. I mean, I just don't like him after he crashed. He didn't write he wrote like one good book in the last 30 years. You still young, man. You not even 40. Well, hopefully. I'm 37 and I'm needing me a woman, so. Okay, I was wrong. This is Stephen King's most underrated book, Cujo. On the on one end, it's a book about a killer dog, but what it's really about is the downfall of the American family because of sitting a lot in his room. But man, Cujo, the ending, you know the ending from The Mist, it is every bit, if not worse than that one. I think he said that because of okay. The Stand, man, that one goes forever. It's a pretty good book, but it's really, really long. I also got some Dean Koontz in here. Does anybody, what's your favorite Stephen King stuff, guys? Do you guys like, it is the one that's most popular right now, but what do you guys think? What's Stephen King's best book? What's his best movie adaptation? What's his worst movie adaptation? Just whatever you got. I'm sure I've seen it or know about it. His newer stuff sucks, though. Duma Key sucks. Lizzie's story sucks. Yeah, I don't like any of the stuff he does. I don't read books. Well, you need to start, man. Read good books, though. Read Edgar Allan Poe. He's my favorite He's my favorite writer, period. He's easy to get into. His stuff's all short. Read H.P. Lovecraft. His stuff is also short, but it's kind of hard to read because obvious reasons. But H.P. Lovecraft and Stephen King's old stuff. Not the new shit, but the old stuff is good. Basically, everything after Bag of Bones isn't any good except for Full Dark, No Stars. That one's actually pretty good. But Stephen King's It, probably just a tad overlong, but it's still it's his best book by far, in my opinion. Okay, if anyone does anyone else have any other questions? I'm just whatever you guys want. Do you guys does anyone like black and white horror films? To someone having a big knowledge about things. Well, I do have that. Tommyknockers. Well, Tommyknockers, a lot of people do not like it, but I actually do. I like the miniseries, but I actually don't think the book is near as bad as people say. I think the book's decent. It's a little odd, but compare it to something like Rose Madder or some of the modern shit that Stephen King puts out that's not any good. It's a masterpiece compared to that stuff. Anything else, guys? We're about at the 1 hour mark. That's usually how long my live streams last. Rose Red. Rose Red's decent. I don't believe it's based on a book. I think it's just a mini series that he wrote the script to. It was okay. Star Night Moon. Yes. What are you saying yes to, my man? It took about 15 minutes for this one to get started, and only hecklers would come, so I appreciate everyone who's asking questions or whatever. My ex loved his stuff. I don't care for it. You're talking about Stephen King? Man, let me tell you a little story about me and Westerns. When I used to like Westerns a lot, especially John Wayne. Buddies. Yeah, I love black and white. I love Night of the Living Dead, Psycho, Frankenstein, Dracula, Wolfman, Creature from the Black Lagoon, The Haunting, House on Haunted Hill, Carnival of Souls, The Haunting, anything else? But anyway, I used to love Westerns, especially John Wayne. But I had an ex, and I loved that bitch. I hate her now, but I loved her at the time. And she loved Westerns, and she loved horses. And we used to talk about Westerns all the time. Anyway, she left me for another guy, and they got married, and I hate her now. So now I can't watch anymore because it reminds me of her. Kind of sad, really pathetic, but it's true. And every time I see Western, I think of her, so I can't watch Westerns anymore. Kind of pathetic, I agree. Can't help it. Uh, your time, your times, guys, are not. Well, thank you. Uh, in the same way with ZZ Top and my ex. Oh yeah, and that's a shame because you end up rejecting perfectly good shit because it reminds you of someone you hate now. And let me tell you something, man. I hope God bless you with the true part. Well, thank you, man. That's really sweet of you. I appreciate it. But let me tell you something about love and hate. I used to think it was impossible to have both. It's not. It's very common. Just ask many married couples. And also, you can never hate someone as much as someone you used to love. That's why a lot of atheists, that just those real God haters, a lot of them used to be religious. And what they really is, they don't disbelieve in God, they just hate him. So they, if you love something and that love turns to hate, that's the most vicious kind of hate, no doubt. Yes, I say that too. Thank you, Star Moon. You believe in God? I do. Now, yeah, I do. And oh, that's nice, Star Knight. And that's funny because one of my favorite philosophers is Arthur Schopenhauer, and he's an atheist. But anyway, nothing came by chance. I agree. Jesus, yes. Yes, I believe in Jesus. I think he was the greatest man who ever walked the face of the earth. I believe he was God in the flesh. I am a Christian. I'm not a very religious one. But yeah, no Allah. Well, from what I understand, Allah is just another name for the Christian God. So I guess I do believe in Allah. But when it really comes down to it, either either the universe is eternal or something made it. All that shit that some people try to come up with about it popping out of nothing. Nothing comes from nothing. You know what nothing is? Nothing. I believe that Jesus is a prophet for Muslims. Are you a Muslim, Star Night Moon? Are you a Muslim? If you are, more power to you. I don't care what people believe. Uh, you are? That's cool. What country are you from, Star Knight? If you don't mind me asking. But yeah, from what I understand, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but actually, Muslims love Jesus. And I think they think that Jesus is actually going to come back in the end days and conquer the devil, if I'm not mistaken, right? Does Muslim mean peace seeker? I'm here to listen. GCC. Yeah. Yeah, I actually own the Quran, the Muslim holy book. I haven't read it yet, but I do own it. I'm really interested in other people's faiths, I find that stuff kind of interesting. I'm actually interested in, just other religions, just everything. I'm interested in a lot of things. When you ain't got a woman, you got to find something to do, man. And my last relationship ended awfully, so I honestly don't know if I'll ever get over that one, but that's another topic. You guys don't want to hear about it. Anybody got any other topics or anything? Just shoot the shit, whatever you want to say. I don't even care what the topic is. Just ask me something. I'll give you guys a few seconds to ask a question, and then we're gonna close. How's that? That's why I'm here still listening. Well, thank you, Star Knight. Man, I read. Well, actually, a lot of the Quran, from what I understand, actually has a lot of the same stories. It is different, of course. Well, thank you, Star Knight. Pray to Allah for me. I appreciate it. Uh, Anybody else got anything else they want to say? Just whatever. I don't care. I'm here for y'all. And I'm also trying to get 1,100 subscribers. I'm right around 1,090 or so, getting close to that level. Anybody else got anything else they want to say? I'll give you guys a few seconds and we're gonna close. Yep, I do too, man. Yeah, Star Knight, say a prayer that I find a mate. Okay, I believe. Just complete your goals, man. Well, that's one of my goals. Thanks for everybody showing up, and if anybody subscribed, I really appreciate that. If anyone liked, I appreciate that. Just thanks everybody for coming up and hanging out. I appreciate it, and see you later on the Hillbilly Review channel.